start recording this as well.
I know it's hard. I know it's hard to start. I know like.
Shalom Avracha, Rabban Pinchas.
Shalom Aleichem. Shalom
Mama
Aleichem.
Zavava, Mama Zavava.
Baruch Hashem. Okay, we are recording now. So we're just waiting for Rami to come on. Okay. Now everybody, we're having everybody on mute. If you want to say something, you can mute yourself and interject. Okay, Moshe Ellis. Hi. All right. So the last thing that we talked about is that the essence of relationship is separation, is knowing where you end and the other person begins. By the way, it's a very, very common occurrence when somebody, when during his childhood, was starved for attention, for love, for challenges, for security, that the child can like retreat into himself and actually sees that he himself is the only one who exists in the world. It's a very common thing. At this particular point in time is because a person feels unsafe. So he separates himself from the world. He can separate himself through various addictions, through all kinds of things that create a bubble in which he is alone. Because when I'm inside my bubble, nobody can come in. Nobody can hurt me. And unfortunately, when I'm in my bubble and nobody else in the world exists, this is when a person can do whatever it is he wants. He can do Averis because there's nobody else. There's just me. Nobody else exists. So when we say separation also means, per definition, that there is a somebody else. It's not just you. It's when you live inside your own bubble, whether it is you're running away when you're fantasizing, or you're using substances, or whatever it is a person uses, overeating, whatever a person uses in order to run away from dealing with his reality, is a denial of the existence of somebody else. I'm the only one who's here. I'm the only one who counts. I'm the only one who needs to actually assuage his pain, take care of his pain. So after saying this, we'll just continue. It says, "V'lazosi kore isha, hayna dibur." The speech is the in of isha. Is, as we said before, the speech is separation because you're speaking to somebody else. The speech is called an isha. Laila le'laila yechave das lishon chava. You have many concepts here folded into this. This in of Laila, night, which is the thing that enables the receiving of the light, is the Keli. So in of Chava, this says Adam is Pchinas Yoim and Chava is Pchinas Laila. Laila le'laila yechave das. The in of das. As we'll see, that it is through the Isha, it is through the woman, it is through the inyan of Loshin Kodesh that we actually bring about the perfection of the creation. Lazosi kore isha, hayno dibur. This is called dibur. V'zos asher diber lahem. This is what Yaakov Avinu says. This is what Yaakov Avinu said to him. That Zois is the dibur. Zos asher diber lahem. Zois is the dibur. And now Rabbeinu dives a little deeper and he says as follows. It is through the use of Loshen Kodesh. It is through Loshen Kodesh HaKadosh Baruch Hu has separated us from the nation. Here we see, again, the concept of Dibor and separation. Again, it is through the concept of Dibor, again, is a concept of separation. Kodesh, Kodesh Baruch Hu has taken us, has separated us from all the other nations in the world. All the languages of all the world crumble and are defeated by the Loshen Kodesh. What does it mean? Every single nation in the world has its own specialty, has its own special vices. Whether some like to stick needles into flies, and some, whatever it is, a certain nation is a nation of thieves. Such a nation has its overriding midara is killing, and so forth and so on. All those midas that the nations have, they are defeated through the Loshen Kodesh. Specifically, nisbatel v'noifel l'adei Loshen Kodesh, ve'en lo shlita al Israel. It is when a person achieves this inyan of shleimus Loshen Kodesh, and we will explain what it actually means. When a person reaches that, the nation, the midara of any one of those nations cannot control him. Which means, as much as I'm not perfect in Loshen Kodesh, this is as much as I am controlled by the midas of Lishonas Am, Lishonas Akum, their midara. And now the thing is that what's Loshen Kodesh? What's the pshat Loshen Kodesh? Okay, so Loshen Kodesh, you put down the nations, blah, blah, blah. What does it mean? Does it mean that you learn how to speak Hebrew? Necessarily, the inyan of Loshen Kodesh means that you sanctify your speech. It sanctifies what you listen to. People think, they have a taiva to hear what other people say about them, people that you disagree with, and you feel like, it doesn't do me no damage. I don't agree with that person. I don't agree with whatever he's saying, but it influences you. The same thing is with seeing things that you shouldn't see. The same thing is with not being makpid or lashon hara or motzi shemra. It's a very common thing that we spoke about it before, that there are certain mitzvahs that that the Yetzer Hara is mislabish in them. And the paramount mitzvah is, there is a mitzvah to dispute somebody, to put him down. And we said, Tkiyas Shofar is also a mitzvah, and I'm yotze with somebody else. Let somebody else be the one who's disputing that person and putting him down. I'm out of the picture. And ultimately, the Shleimus Lashon Kodesh doesn't even have to be in Hebrew. It can be in any language. The Ikar Shleimus Lashon Kodesh is you coming to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and speaking to him. You speaking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu like he's speaking to your best friend. Because as Rav Weinberger said in his speech for Pesach, it's a very important nakuda. He brings B'Shem Rabbi Yitzhak Ginsburg, is a very choshev Lubavitch Mashpia, that he says there are three different levels of being alone. He says there's the aloneness of Echad Avram. Rabbeinu says between Chelek, the first Chelek Likutey and the second Chelek Likutey, there's a shtickle Torah that Rabbeinu says that the whole atzlach of Avram Avinu was Echad Avram. He didn't see, as far as he's concerned, he's the only one who exists in the world, which Lichua contradicts what we're saying until now, right? All the Ovas HaKadoshim, they're all shepherds. What is a shepherd? The Ramchal said the shepherd means somebody who is separating himself from society. Am levada dishkoin. He's totally separate from everybody else. He's getting attached to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. On the other hand, when you're talking about misery, you're talking about the churban, the destruction. Echa yoshva bodod, yashva ka'almona, sitting alone, the loneliness is something that basically eats you up alive. It's like biting chunks of your flesh. And there are three different levels of being alone. There is the physical alone, Lo toiv heyos ha'odam levada. It's not good that a person lives alone. Eselo ezer kenegdoi. I'm going to create a woman, lazosi kari isha. This is what they call the levad hamutba. That's the inborn, the natural levad, which is not good. A person needs somebody to help him out. One of the biggest mistakes that people do when they experience midlife crisis is they think, you know something, I'm going to leave this one. It doesn't matter whether it says this about the wife or the wife about the husband. I'm going to separate. I'm going to, separate from this one. I'm going to divorce from this one. And things are going to be absolutely marvelous. Things are going to be absolutely wonderful. And then they discover what means being alone on the most fundamental level there is. Lo toiv heyoisa odom levadai. And then he mentions that there is one higher level of levad, which is the levada nafshi, where you can be with somebody. You have a wife, you have a husband, or whatever it is, but you feel that they don't care about you. They're just takers. They're just there to be taken from, or you are just there for them to take from. That's it. And he uses the lashon lo ichpatli, ichpatiyut. Rav Weinberger said, nobody cares. Yeah, you have somebody with you, okay, maybe to share the chores, whatever it is, but they don't care about you. And then there is the highest level of levad, which is the levad asichli. There's a cerebral aloneness. And this particular one, this cerebral aloneness, is when you are inside your own mind and you feel, yes, I have people around me. Yes, I have people who care about me. But nobody really knows me. Nobody really understands me. Inside my own mind, I'm all alone. And not just alone, but confused, helpless, and hopelessly damaged and flawed. Wherever I look at myself, all I see is chesroinus. All I see is what I do wrong. That's all I can see. Being connected to Kadosh Baruch Hu means that you realize that there, in that alone, inside your head, that only you exist, that nobody else knows you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there. He's with you. He cares about you, and he understands you. If you have a choice at that particular point in time, either you go away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you are doomed. You are locked in a cell of loneliness. This is the pgam of the Lashon Kodesh, as you will see on. Or what you're doing is, this is Zashal Hashem Tzadikim Vovo. You open up the gate in the alone in your mind that nobody understands, that nobody knows. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says Zashal Hashem. This is the gateway to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the only way you can open the gate is through the Shleimas Lashon Kodesh. Shleimas Lashon Kodesh means that you talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You talk to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you ask him. You ask him to bring you closer. Now the derech is when you come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and you start talking to him, ways into Avodas Hashem, ways into tshuva. You find yourself like you're talking to the wall. You can't open up your heart. You don't know what to talk about. Whatever it is that you really want to talk about seems so puny, seems so unimportant. And whatever it is that you need to talk about, like maybe making cheshbon nefesh, maybe judging yourself, maybe anekuda teva, maybe anything else, you don't feel like talking about it. I'm bothered by the fact that I'm alone and nobody understands me and I feel miserable. I don't feel like talking about any of this. And that's the way that you come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Usually when you start, you start by coming and I don't know what to say. So you say, okay, you know something, we'll start with thank you. We'll start with thank you. And you say thank you. If somebody said thank you, the way that you say thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you break a bottle on their head. Thank you. They say, the answer is the thing that is standing on your way, as Rabbeinu says in Torah Yitzayin, is the Godim Atzoyim, this is the Maisim, the deeds that I did that are blocking me from Kodesh Baruch Hu, that are closing the door between me and Kodesh Baruch Hu. What you need to do, I don't mean the poem, but knock on the door. What you need to do is to realize, as we said before, you need to clean your face to be able to see yourself in the face of the tzaddik. When you come to Kodesh Baruch Hu and the door is closed, You don't walk away. You knock on the door. And if you can't even bring yourself to knock on the door, just sit there and say nothing. Just wish that you'll be able to talk. Not talking then is shlemis lashon kodesh. Wishing you could talk is shlemis lashon kodesh. The same way as saying what you need not to say, or you hear something which you need not to hear, is a pgam lashon kodesh. The same way, wishing you could talk the kind of diburim that you can pour your heart out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But what can you do? The door is closed and you're sitting there broken hearted because you know that the reason why you cannot open your mouth, you're poigim lashon kodesh. You're poigim chava isha. This is Bgam Bris, as Rabbeinu says. And this it says, Ze b'chinas loshon noifel al loshon. This is that a language falls on a language. So linguistically, it means that it's a similar word from a similar shirish. But what we're saying over here, Rabbeinu uses over here, loshon falls on a loshon, and a language falls on a language, is that here talking about that there is a competition, there's a war going on between the Lashon Kodesh and Lashon Sa'akum, and the Lashon Sa'akum, the languages of the Goyim, the midas of the Goyim, are defeated by the Lashon Kodesh. Lashon Neufel Lashon. Lashon Kodesh defeats the Lashon Sa'akum. The Kedusha defeats the midas of the Akum. And not only that, now specifically, now we get down to business, as it were. It says, and what is the main thing that actually falls down is a ra koilel. That's the overall evil, the biggest, the midah ra of all the nations roll into one. Shekol haroy shel shivan loshen klulim boy. All the evil midas of all the people in the world are all included in that particular midah, this particular taiva, the hainu tava semedur shel tava sniuf. That's the flame, the roaring flame of the taiva of sexual misconduct in all its levels. Machshava, dibur, maisa. Reading books you shouldn't read, seeing movies you shouldn't see, talking diburim you shouldn't talk, fantasizing things. What am I doing? What do you want from me? I'm just alone in my bed. I'm not doing anything to anybody. Just showing a movie in my mind. What do you want? This is Bgam Lashon Kodesh. This is taiva. This is the flame, a roaring flame. That this is the taiva that, as I said, they're along the rings. One ring to bind them all. That's the taiva that binds them all together. The taiva of the taiva sniuf. All the taivas, everything is steeped of all the nations. It's all being included in that particular taiva. It's called the Medura of Shivim Loshin, the 70 stars. And Rabbeinu says later on that during the week, there is the kedusha and that goes down into the realm of the tuma. The very, very lower level of the kedusha, the malchus, it is busy inside the realm of the kelipot. This is the time to do business. It is of klipa snoga, that is between the tuma and the kedusha. Everything we're talking now is this competition between the kedusha and the tuma is taking place in this in this playing pitch, this playing court, which is called klipas noiga. During the week, you are in this playing court. You're playing one-on-one against the Yetzirah. And this is not just a game. This is the very purpose of the creation of the world. On Shabbos, Arizal says on Shabbos, the noiga goes up to the kedusha. It leaves this world, you know. The noiga also comes out to the kedusha. So all the spheres atmeas, all the klipas atmeas, the three klipas, they're rubbing their hand. Yay! Now the klipas is going up the kedusha. Let's go after it. Let's also go into the kedusha and actually devour the kedusha. What happens is that a spark fire comes from above and hits them and brings them down and dumps them into something called the nukva de Tahomaraba, the receptacle, the feminine receptacle of the endless abyss, the endless Tahom. And Arizal says that's a secret of washing oneself with hot water, Erev Shabbos. When the hot water comes from above and it washes you down, this is the ash that from above that comes down and dumps the kelipot into the Nukvat Rabba. That garnering together of all the klipot atmeot, all the tumadik klipas, they want to come to the Kedusha and devour it, is the flame, the roaring flame of that particular taiva. Get him, chaps him. This is when this is coming on. He says, this is Neufev in this battle, the Eilo Shlita Alidei Loshen Kodesh. When you actually achieve the level of Loshen Kodesh, it says this is being defeated and it falls down. This is the flame of all the 70 stars, which is mentioned in Zohar Kodesh Parash Vayakel. Hainu Ara Koilel. That's the overall evil. That's the one ring to bind them all. That's the roaring flame of the taiva for misconduct. Gamma bris. Before we actually go into this of we're actually going to, I think that we're going to just wrap this around here, because the next subject we're actually going into how the Loshen Kodesh is undercutting the kelipot, the union of chashmal. So if that's a whole system, it's a whole sugya of its own. We'll talk about it in the next time. But the one thing that we need to go away with from this particular shir is Tov Hashem lakol, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav. So the Poshet Pshat is Hashem is good for everybody. It's good to everybody. He has compassion, to all his creations. But then he says, Tov Hashem lakol, Hashem is good for everything. Whatever you need. You can make his bededus. You can talk. You can open up your heart. Talk about it. Ata Kodesh Baruch Hu, to make it possible for you to open up your mouth. Say it again, and say it again, and wait. If you find yourself that you have fallen, you find yourself that you have steeped to that thing which you promised yourself 1,000 times, I'm never, ever going to do it again. And lo and behold, what did you do? Exactly that. and you no longer know whether you feel guilty because you did it, or you did it because you want to justify yourself feeling guilty. You're so tzechesh with yourself. At a certain point in time, and this is a soid, this is a secret in avodas Hashem. At a certain point in time, and you find yourself in this endless loop, I keep on doing the same things over and over and over again. I feel horrible. I feel horrible and I can't get out of it. It's actually a place where the Loshen Kodesh, the Shlomo HaKodesh, is actually to stop and make a separation. Listen well. Make a separation and say, Ribbon Shem, you know something? Let's leave whether I deserve Gan Eden or Gehenna aside for a minute, okay? Just put it aside. This is a matter for another day. Because whenever I look into it, I feed into this rolling guilt of mine. Let's put this whole issue where I am like the worst person. It's like, Hitler and Stalin and me sitting and eating hummus together. I don't care. It's like the worst of the worst. I'm the pits of the pits. Or I'm like, forget about it. Gan Eden is not good enough for me. This is not an issue. I don't care about that. Let's take this whole thing and put it aside. We just come to Kodesh Baruch Hu, Ribono Shel Olam. How do I get out of it? I can't keep on playing this cat and mouse game with myself. Doing bad things and feeling bad for doing it, and then doing it again, and then feeling bad about it again, and just stop. Don't be too much of a tzaddik. This is when the Yetzer Hara is mislabish b'mitzvahs. You have to take a technical, clinical look at who you are and stop trying to judge yourself at that particular point in time. Just put the judgment aside. Let's keep it for Yom Kippur. Let's leave it alone. Ribono Shel Olam. Ech ani yotze mize? How do I get out of it? Technically, how do I do it? How can I stop using? How can I stop running away? How do I do it? We'll talk about punishment later. Just forget about it. And it is so, it's so against it's counterintuitive. Because you want to be a tzaddik before you're supposed to judge yourself. You're supposed to whip yourself up. You're supposed to, whatever it is you're supposed to do. Self, flagellation, the whole shebang. No. Then the Shlemus and Kodesh is stop the self-judgment. You're in the vortex of Yetzer Hara. Put it aside and just come to Kadosh Baruch Hu and says, okay, how do I get out of it? What's the next step? This you do coming to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is Shleimus Loshen Kodesh. It's not just about feeling guilty. There's a point in Avodas Hashem when you have to put feeling guilty aside. And knowing, don't worry, I'll come back, you'll deal with it. It's a level of sophistication in Avodas Hashem. Bezrat Hashem, Hashem should help us. We should be zoiche to have this kind of mishkol. This is tiklo. This is measuring when to use this, when to use that, when to, to when to beat myself, and when to actually accept myself the way I am. And says, listen, this is not the point right now. The point is now is Mausim. What are we doing? Bezrat Hashem will continue Likutei Moharan on this evening of Chashmal next week, Thursday, and we'll all meet in Yetzer Hashem, Motzei Shabbos, Tzipori Maisis at 9 o'clock, Bli Neder. Kol Tov, Nagiten Chodesh, everybody.
Thank you, Chodesh.
Thank you, thank everybody. Kol Tov. Bye-bye.
Good Shabbos, Chodesh Tov.
Good Shabbos, Chodesh Tov. Kol Tov.